This Dyson V15 is an awesome vacuum. However, it costs at least $650, so some people say it's a little bit overpriced. So if you like the taste of champagne, but you're on a beer budget, I've got two alternatives to Dyson that don't require that big Vegas win. We'll start with a mid-priced pick from Shark, currently around $350, and then we'll look at a more budget pick from Levoit, currently at around $155. We purchased all these vacuums with our own money, so no sponsors, no BS. So let's get into the good, the bad, and the feline. And if you're interested in saving money on vacuums, join our monthly newsletter at vacuumnerds.com. So let's start with the basics, and then we'll get into testing. The Levoit LVAC200 is about half the price of the Shark and about a quarter the price of the Dyson. Now you can often find it for around $155. And you might have heard of Levoit air purifiers. It's actually the same company. It's got a single brush roll, which they say is anti-tangle, 50 minutes of battery life, and it can lie completely flat to go under beds. Now there is a really big price differential between these two vacuums, so let's see what you get with the Levoit first. You get the main unit with, I think, about 0.7, maybe 1 liter of capacity. This pops off, which is really nice for emptying it. It's got a mesh filter, which you should probably wash every 30 days or so. You've got this filter, which looks like a HEPA filter, but they don't call it one. I think they have the same specs as one. And then you've got a pre-motor filter. Again, you should wash this stuff out every 30 days, maybe more often. If you don't, it will reduce the effectiveness of your vacuum and you might end up ruining the motor. Now, one thing that's pretty impressive at this price point is the battery actually comes off, and you can actually buy replacement or additional batteries, which is very cool. You've got this beautiful display. Okay, actually no display at all. You just got these buttons to increase or decrease the amount of suction you got. Pretty simple. Okay, you got a wand, and you've got this head, which we'll talk about in just a minute. You get this crevice tool, which also doubles as a dusting brush tool. And then you get this dusting brush tool, which pops off, and you got this hard surface tool. And then you've got a wall mount, which I guess goes like that. Apparently it is very attractive to cats. The Shark Vertex IZ462H is about half the price of the Dyson. Currently it's in the low to mid $300 range. The Shark has their new Duo Clean Power Fin technology. It has 2 rollers with these fins that help agitate carpet to get dirt unstuck. It's got a flexible wand that helps you get under beds and other furniture without bending down. The battery goes supposedly about 60 minutes, and you get this crevice tool and also this dusting brush. What do you get with the much more expensive Dyson? So you get the main head unit. It has a display on it, which can show you the amount of battery life you have left or the amount of particles you've been picking up. Has a multiple cyclones in here is what I'm trying to say. It generates a lot of suction, and my cat totally agrees with that. Of course, you get a wand. You get this motor bar style head, which has adjustable gates on it, which is very useful. You also get the pièce de résistance, the fluffy head with a laser in it, which is actually really good for finding cat hair, which there's a lot of in this house. It's very good with pet hair. It's not a gimmick. Also, if you got pets, you got this pet hair tool, which is quite good, actually. This is amazing for kitty condos, doggy beds, all that kind of stuff. Super helpful. Then you get a dusting brush. You can use this in your car. You get a crevice tool. You get a tool which you can attach it to the wand. You can go underneath your bed with this. And then you get this wall mount. Snaps in like this, and when it is in the mount, it's actually charging. It has a removable battery, and it takes a couple hours to charge. So for roughly 4 or 5 times the price, depending on the configuration, you do get a lot more. Our carpet test is designed to show how well a vacuum does with heavy dirt like sand, because sand is one of the more difficult materials to pick up.
On our carpet pickup test, the Dyson V15 picked up 100%, the Shark Vertex picked up 98%, and the Levoit picked up 90%.
And then we repeat the same test on hardwood. Most vacuums can pick up 100% of the dirt on hardwood or pretty close to it. So what we're looking for is how effective is the brush roll? Does it kick the dirt away, or does it actually suck it up into the vacuum? All 3 vacuums did a really good job of not kicking the sand back behind the head. The Levoit kicked back a couple grains, but the Dyson and the Shark basically sucked up everything right into the head. So that's a very good result for all 3.
In hardwood pickup, the Dyson V15 picked up 100%, The Shark Vertex picked up 100%, and the Levoit also 100%.
But now we must ask the most cringe question. Does it suck? And how much? We tested each vacuum in maximum suction mode. The Dyson is our top performer at 31 kilopascals. The Shark Stratos was 17 kilopascals, and the Levoit came in third at 8 kilopascals. We also tested them in medium suction mode, and the Dyson again was our winner at 13 kilopascals, the Shark at 12, and the Levoit at 5. We tested airflow at the wand at maximum suction to figure out how strong these motors are. The Dyson V15 scored the best at 42 meters per second. The Shark Stratos came in second at 33 meters per second, and the Levoit was third at 17 meters per second. Let's take a look at the head design. This is the Levoit. You've got a nice clear area here where you can see into it to see if there's any tangles. And it's a pretty simple design. You've got a row of bristles, they're fairly firm, and then you've got these little flappy pieces over here, which is a little bit harder. Those are designed, I think, to agitate carpet or maybe sweep dirt up into the unit. You've also got this little row back here, which is designed to keep dirt from flying back. You've got 3 LEDs in the front. Now, what happens if you want to clean it? Well, the nice thing is you actually don't need any tools. There's a button on top here. Press that button, flip this over, and the brush roll comes out to clean it. Pretty simple, not a whole lot to go wrong. And yeah, so far in the time that I've owned this, actually it's been very reliable. Now let's look at the Shark. This is a significantly more complicated design, but that doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, I think it's actually pretty good. Up front, you've got this fluffy roller here. This is designed to polish hard surfaces like hardwood. Then you've got a second roller. You've got a row of bristles in the back, which is much thicker, and so that should keep dirt from flying back. Now, what if you want to actually do some cleaning on this? To get the first roller out, pretty simple. There's a little button on the side, flip that, roller comes out, easy peasy. You can also see the row of teeth here, which are the anti-tangle teeth, and these are pretty good at removing hair from the roller. But what about this roller? What if you want to clean this? You're gonna need a screwdriver, and there's 3 screws. You take this piece off, and the roller doesn't come out, but you can actually clean it a lot easier. So this is the first head you get with the Dyson. It's called the motor bar. You can see you've got a set of fairly soft bristles here and a firmer row here of this red material, and then these veins over here. And the whole thing is anti-tangle. You can see there's combs right in the back here, and it's pretty effective. This is good for all-round usage, and it's actually the one you should use on carpet. Now we're gonna see how each vacuum deals with pet hair. I've got 2 super fluffy cats, and they leave hair everywhere every single day. One thing you'll wanna know about is how often do you need to detangle the brush roll? So we put some cat hair on the carpet and then walked over it to make it more realistic. Then we checked each vacuum to see how much hair was left on the brush rolls. This actually looks pretty good. Yeah, there's a little bit of hair over here, but I think that's perfectly fine. So I'd say this is quite effective at vacuuming cat hair. The Shark looks really good too. I don't really see any major hairs on here. I think it's pretty effective. Yeah, there's a little bit on the side, but this is easy to clean off. You can see the Dyson has an anti-tangle brush roll design with some combs in the back, and it is quite effective at getting pet hair off of its bristles. Each of these vacuums is supposed to have some type of anti-tangle capability built into the head. So let's put down some 8-inch hair and see how each one does. See, the Dyson is extremely effective at long hair. There's basically very little here. I see 1 strand. The Shark is also very effective with anti-tangle and longer hairs. It does a great job. But what about the more budget-oriented Levoit? Surprisingly, the Levoit actually did a great job too. So all these vacuums are quite effectively anti-tangle. Now, not everyone has shag carpet, but if you do, let's find out how each vacuum deals with it. But honestly, if you do have shag, I'd probably recommend getting a corded vacuum. It's just gonna be able to handle it a lot better. Let's start with the Dyson V15 with the motor bar head. Takes a little bit of effort to push it through the shag carpet. Definitely a little bit of an arm workout, but you can see it's actually still pretty effective at getting dirt and dust out of the shag. Next, the Shark in carpet mode. Definitely a lot easier to use on shag. The double brush roll makes it a lot easier to push through the shag carpet. It actually does an okay job too on the shag. I'd say this is a pretty viable solution if you got thick carpet. And the Levoit. Takes a little bit of work to push it through. The head kind of flops back and forth from side to side. That's not great. It picked up some of the dirt on the shag, but I don't think this is really a good option if you have shag carpet in your house. A good vacuum will have a sealed canister that keeps the dust inside the vacuum so it doesn't go back into the air. Now, all these vacuums have multi-stage filtration systems that should be able to filter dust and dander and particles down to about 0.3 microns. Our smoke test shows you how well each vacuum actually seals the particles in. The Dyson products all do a really good job of keeping the smoke inside the canister. You would expect that for a lot of money. On the other hand, most inexpensive vacuums are basically a smoke show. However, the Levoit was actually surprisingly good.
The Levoit definitely performed better than I expected.
Let's talk battery life. So battery life is actually dependent on how you use the vacuum. If you're using maximum suction, you're gonna find that the battery life might be as low as 10, 12 minutes in all of these vacuums. However, in my experience, it's better not to use the super high suction modes because they do suck up a lot of battery life. For example, in the Dyson, you'll get about 40 to 45 minutes if you put it in auto mode. And the Shark says you can get up to 60 minutes. So what's realistic? The Levoit actually has the weakest battery. In typical vacuuming, I find you're gonna get somewhere around 30 minutes or so if you're using it in the medium mode. In the Shark real world performance, you're gonna get somewhere around 40 minutes, which is actually pretty good. It's pretty equivalent to the Dyson. So which one is the best vacuum to get? Well, actually, performance-wise, they sort of arrange themselves by price, with the Dyson being the most expensive. And yes, you do get the most performance. You also get a very nice LED display too. However, this is not about the Dyson. This is about what's the better economical vacuum. And actually, the Shark is a really great performer too. In fact, it might be a little better on shag carpet than the Dyson, believe it or not. So it's very good at pickup, and the battery lasts just as long as the Dyson. It's got strong suction and it feels pretty well made. And overall, I think it's a great performer with real world performance that is actually very close to the Dyson. You're getting about 80% of the performance, in my opinion, at about half the price. That seems like a pretty good deal, and it does have a 5-year warranty. And yes, I know a lot of people have opinions about Sharks like they do about other vacuums. Read the reviews online. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not a vacuum repair specialist. I can't really opine on how well any vacuum is going to last in the long run. And so finally we get to the Levoit. So it's not as good as the other two. However, it's still a really good performer and a price that is about 1/4 of the Dyson. And for the price, it is, in my opinion, one of the best vacuums that you can get. A lot of vacuums do not have a sealed canister, even for more money. And the Levoit does. It's got a very good anti-tangle head. It is decent enough at pickup, especially if you don't have a lot of carpets in your home. And overall, I think it just represents a good value, and the reviews on Amazon are actually pretty good. You can find all these vacuums at the links down below, which helps support our channel. I've got another amazing vacuum review right here. And again, if you want to stay abreast of the best vacuum deals, check out our monthly newsletter at vacuumnerds.com.